What about manifestation isn't about asking or hoping or praying or waiting, but about remembering who you already are. Manifestation doesn't take time, it takes alignment. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Doris Victoria, your personal empowerment, soul empowerment coach and conscious millionaire coach. This is a video about manifestation where I am sharing a few secrets with you. And for all of you who want to go back to the meditation that I did on the Lions Portal video, go back to that video about the Lions Portal. There's a powerful meditation, guided meditation about your future self in that. It's all about looking into the mirror as the cat and then seeing that lion. So my video today is about how to bring into physical manifestation what we are so desiring. Because oftentimes, here's the thing, we live in a field of infinite possibilities. Some call it the unified field, some call it the quantum field. I call it the soup of love, you know. There's infinite potential around us in waves waiting to be shaped by our deliberate intent. So if you have been one of those that have been waiting your entire life to manifest, may it be health or inner peace or even outer peace, you know, if you live in a country that still doesn't know peace, or you have been waiting for the partner of your dreams or the house of your dreams or the job of your dreams, whatever it is, all this that you have been dreaming about is already there. This is how manifestation works. Ask and it is immediately given. When we are having an idea, when we are asking for something, it is given immediately. It is given in a different dimension. It is given in this field around us of infinite possibilities. The thing is, and why it is so hard for us to manifest, is because we only see a tiny fraction of this infinite possibility through our mental filters. We all get conditioned here on earth, you know. I always wish that children would be raised in a way that they can just be those infinite beings that they come here to be, before society is telling them no and no and no, this is not possible and no, you can't. And you know, before we get all these mental filters, we were once powerful beings, and as souls in the other dimension, we are those powerful beings. But it is really the juiciest thing to bring our soul's potential, which is a wish or a dream. It's just a call of your soul to expand, to get to know yourself better, to remember who you truly are, because it's all about remembering who we truly are. And why do I stress this, you know, phrase, remember who you truly are, so much in my empowerment channel? Because this is where all the answers lie. So manifestation is therefore so hard for many because we only see a tiny fraction of what is possible. You know, let's say there's trillions of possibilities in this quantum field surrounding us and within us, because even we are particles of energy. So if our thoughts align with this infinite potential in this infinite field of possibilities around us, this is when manifestation becomes dense and we can manifest, we can see it physically. This is when it, so to speak, collapses into physical manifestation. Before, it is present as waves everywhere. Every part of where you can imagine in all dimension, this potential exists. And it's just waiting for those of us who want to become deliberate creators to be caught, so to speak, and then, you know, brought into physical manifestation by our, how can I say, by our alignment, by our remembrance of who we already are. So how do you remember who you already are? You think of a wish, for example, you know, think of a wish that you've had for your entire life, whatever it is, a healthy body, your soulmate, being in a different country, for example, you know. It can be so many things. So just think about one thing that you've always wanted in your life and that maybe still not has manifested. And now just close your eyes for a small moment. And as I said, go back to my meditation on the Lions Portal video. It's all about manifesting your next version. And then see yourself already in that, you know, desire that you had all your life. The thing is, we see around us a reality oftentimes that doesn't fit our dream. And we allow this reality to discourage us to continue believing that we already are everything that we are desiring. So think, you know, while you have your eyes closed, think about moments in your life where are you not living that desired version of you yet. Like, let's say you want to be a millionaire and you're still going to the supermarket or to a store and you're like, oh no, I better don't buy this because I don't have the money for it, or no, these are too expensive, I take the cheaper choice, you know. What is this behavior like? Is this the behavior of a millionaire, or is this the behavior of someone who is in lack? So think about all these little tiny moments in your life where you feel that you're still not living that version of yourself that you are invited to become in order to bring your wishes into physical manifestation. Because this is the illusion. It's like you're being in a room where lots of radio stations are playing, and your brain, so to speak, your filters are only tuned into one certain station, and yet there are many, many, many more radio stations that are playing their stuff, their music or news or whatever. It's just that you cannot hear it because you're still going according to those mental filters that you have been conditioned to believe, whether it is lack, whether it is, you know, that we're being sick at one certain age. It's all just belief systems. Nothing is true. And remember, there's no diseases that can be inherited genetically. There is only thought programming that we inherit, that we take over from those that were raising us, from our environment in early childhood. Because as children, what we're doing is we just absorb the outer environment. So we're taking these programmings and they become our reality, without us realizing that, wait a moment, this doesn't have to be my reality. I can actually think different thoughts. And this is the hardest thing, because so many of us, when we are in default mode, we are not really aware of what thoughts we are thinking. This is where our emotional guidance system is coming in. And I've made a lot of videos about this. The emotional guidance system that we all have is when you feel good, when you feel elated, when you feel joyful, hopeful, knowing that you can do anything, that you are that powerful, you know, that's when you think thoughts, that's when you know that you're thinking thoughts that are serving you. Whenever you feel restricted or sick or in any way, I would say restricted is the best word. When you feel like you have all this resistance around you that is dimming your light down, that's when you know that you have thoughts that are not serving you, that are, maybe these are thoughts that you have taken over. So become aware of those mental filters. This is a really, really important step in manifestation. Become aware of the mental filters that you are believing in right now. Is it lack? Is it that there's not enough for everyone? Is it that when you, for example, are healthy, you're taking away the health of someone else? Or if you are rich, then you're taking away the wealth of someone else? What are your current belief systems, you know? And then just go back into this quantum field where there's infinite possibilities. There is no lack. You know, this earth would have abundant space and food and water for all creation, for all human beings on it, if it would be distributed in a fair way, if it would be distributed in a different way than it is now. So lack is one of those big illusions that we learn when we come to this planet. Why? Because it serves the larger scheme. It serves those that are still making money with human beings, you know. governments. I mean, I always, you know, the first thing I'm always talking with my clients is, isn't it interesting that we human beings are the only beings that have to pay taxes for our existence? No bird, no tree, no animal has to pay for their existence. So isn't there something wrong with that system here on Earth, you know? So anyway, let's go back to manifestation. The big illusion is that our eyes only see this tiny fraction that we have learned is the reality. So when we are bringing ourselves most often back into that version of ourselves that we need to be in order to be that manifestation that we have desired, that's when it can come into physical fruition. And again, you know, go back to this guided meditation, do it as many times as you like, and then really bring this energy, this new energy of your new identity, that person that you need to be in a physical, healthy body, in your dream life, with your dream partner, in your dream house. Bring that truth of you into your daily life, and do not be discouraged because you cannot see it in your outside world. You know, the reason why so many of us think manifestation takes a long time is because we always get discouraged by what we are seeing in the outside world, because we are doing those manifestations, we're doing those kind of like identity meditations, and then we open our eyes, and what we're seeing around us or what we're seeing about our own physical body is not necessarily what is in alignment with that new truth. So now you have the choice. You can either, you know, be discouraged by what you're seeing and then bring your light, dim your light back to that version that you don't want to be, or you can continue walking in the truth, knowing that you are worthwhile, knowing that Source wants that for you. Because remember Rumi's words, what you seek is seeking you. So remember that your dreams, everything that you desire to bring into your life, is seeking you in the same way that you are wanting to manifest it. All you have to do is tune into the different radio frequency, is to not be discouraged in what you're seeing in your outside world, to continue to live that truth as if it would already be true, even if it is not yet visible in your current manifested world. Because remember that the world that we have created around us is the world that lives within us. Everything is a reflection of our thoughts, of our emotions, of our belief systems. So use this time today to remember who you truly are. And when you do remember who you truly are, when you do remember that you are part of the infinite, you are part of God. And if for God everything is possible, then why isn't it for you? It is for you, as it is for God. Let go of these mental filters that tell you, oh no, I can't. I would be the first in my family. I come from a poor family, for example. No, I can't be rich because it would devastate the members in my family. No. And then ask yourself, why do you think it would devastate them, for example? Why couldn't it elate them the same way that it elates you? Because you are the first one to show them, hey, look at me, a different reality is possible. So I kind of felt a long time like the black sheep, because this is what I showed, you know, my mom who lived a life, and it's always a choice. I'm not judging anything or anyone. And the contrary, I really feel compassion for those who kind of like got blocked by their own fears. But my mom has been the one that has been blocked by her own fears. She never went away from her home country. She never saw something outside of her small world. Well, I was the one moving away from that tiny place that I grew up, moving away, living in 6 countries on 3 continents. Why? Because it was my choice. And because I knew that it would be possible for me, and I knew that if I made it easy, if I knew it was possible, I would always find a way. And that's the truth, you know, when you really want something, where there's a will, there's always a way. So whether what it is for you, if you manifest a healthier body, do not think that it takes away from other people that are healthy, you know. I mean, you cannot be sick enough to, how can I say, to help someone who is sick. No, you can only help someone who is sick by being perfectly healthy, because you're showing that person, wait a moment, what's possible for me, it's possible for them. So do not be afraid to be the change that you want to see in the world. Remember Gandhi's words, be the change that you want to see in this world. I just want to end this video with this beautiful episode yesterday. I went into that store in a big touristy village, which is kind of like, it's really, really nice. I really like it there. It has this kind of like citadel center. It's in Southern Europe. It's a beautiful place. And I went into that supermarket and I saw this African young man behind the cashier in a very, he kind of like made a long face. And when it was my turn to pay, I said, hey, how is your day going? How are you doing? And then he looked at me like this, literally. You know, there was hope suddenly in his face. And he was like, oh my God, it feels so good to have someone asking me for how I am. And I'm like, well, isn't this the normal way? So how are you? How's your day going? And he said, well, the truth is not good, but you made it for me. Thank you. And then I told him, you know, my belief is always like, be the change that you want to see in the world. And remember, you know, a smile is cheaper than electricity, and yet it has more power to illuminate the world than electricity has. And I left him with that, and he even waved at me when I was walking out of the superstore. It doesn't take much, dear one. So the same way I encouraged that beautiful young man whose eyes started to have this light again when I left, the same way you can encourage yourself by knowing that you are worth all your desires and that everything you want exists already. And don't go with affirmations necessarily. Go with that inner truth. Walk that version of yourself. Bring that version of yourself that you want to be, whatever it is, into your life that you are seeing and living now. And reality has no choice than to rearrange herself or itself for you. Trust me on this one. So with these words, I'm leaving you today. It was a pleasure to connect with you. Mwah! To all my new subscribers, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing. To all my community, thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for taking the time to invest in yourself, to empower yourself, so that we can walk the earth together as illuminated, enlightened beings. And bring that hope back, plant the seeds of hope. And as I said, maybe not hope, but knowing that we are all worthwhile of living the life of our dreams. And if it's possible for some, it's possible for everyone. If it's possible for some that we see or admire, it is possible for you. Just remember that you are worthy and that you can have, and that everything you have ever desired is already there. And it's up to you when you want to bring it into manifestation. And it doesn't have to be long. As I said, manifestation does not take time. All it takes is alignment. It's about tuning into the frequency, walking as that truth in your life and being it, embodying it, breathing it, dressing like it, behaving like it, thinking like it, feeling like it. And then, as I said, reality has no choice than to rearrange itself for you. Okay, dear ones, I see you in the next video. Bye for now. Mwah.